What do you think about all the new development in Southeast Durham?
I think it's too much too fast is what I think about the development in the area.
It's a concern because it's large tracts of land that are being cleared, completely clear cut, all the soil taken out, for a lot of high density stuff and very little open space being left. It's been a concern for me because right behind me is going to be completely developed into a subdivision.
You hear beeping alarms all day, every day while you're trying to work. Blasts multiple times a day while you're trying to work, and not even while you're trying to work, just in general. And just, worrying about what's going to happen and if you're going to have water after the next blast and if the well's going to cave in or what the water quality is going to be afterwards and that kind of thing.
They're building a new housing development right next door to me, and since they started the blasting, I've had damage to my walls. The ceilings are separating from the walls, and I also feel a difference in the flooring, highs and lows in areas. And I contacted the company. They came out and took pictures, said that they would investigate and get back with me. It's been about a month since they've been out. But on yesterday, March the 21st, there was a blasting at 8:05 and 11 o'clock, and I felt the vibration of the house trembling, and at 11 o'clock it felt like an earthquake. So I know there's damage being done to my house, and I just need to know how to go about correcting it.
About 4 to 6 years ago, they were doing a lot of development here, and our well collapsed just out of the blue early summer. We have 30 horses, we have camps, we run a business here. One horse, to stay hydrated, has to have or access to at least 11 gallons of water, fresh water a day. So if you add up 11 times 30, that's a lot of water. So, and that's not counting, bathing the horses, if they're injured, having to cold hose them, not to mention my home, just living, washing clothes and taking a bath. That's a lot of water. Our well went in and we didn't know why, because that's never happened before. So we kind of figured out that it probably was the dynamite. We kind of heard from word of mouth, but we really were more concerned on spending the time to get the permits and getting on the well list for the well people to come. Even though my husband is good friends with the man that runs the well, it didn't matter because they have a schedule. So for 4 months out of the summer, our home and our 30 horses had zero water. So for 4 months, I tanked in 3 times a day water from my in-laws that they have city water. It takes me 2 hours to fill up this tank so that the horses can have water, access to clean water. And that was just that. The whole house was shut down. We were living with my in-laws for water, taking baths, washing clothes for 4 months out of the year. I lost business because city people don't understand that these things happen. When you own a business, you kind of figure out all these things happen. So for $10,000, I had to write a check for $10,000. We were spending more time getting the permits and paying for it, and me getting the water here every day, that I didn't really go past that. When we got the well in, kind of forgot about it and just was like, God, I hope that never happens again. But looking back at it, because it came up again about a week or so ago, somebody said something to me about it, and I said, you rest assured, if that happens again in this well, if dynamite's the cause, because the well people will tell you there's no other reason why it would collapse. It has these pipes. I learned all this. There's pipes, and we dug a 400, I think it's as long as that pasture. So all the piping that went down into the ground is as long as that pasture to the road. So I might be saying I'm not good about figuring out how long that was. It's the deepest we could get it so that it doesn't happen again. And then they did reinforcement with the pipes that go down in to hold it in. The encasing, so that hopefully it won't happen again. But I will, for sure, if it happens again, be finding out why it happens, and someone needs to be held accountable, because it's not fair. Why should I have to spend $10,000-$20,000?
So you think the dynamite is responsible, the
That's
blasting?
what everybody is saying.
Yeah.
But if it happens again, I will be finding out and suing. Someone else is going to put a new well in.
Have they ever offered you a pre-inspection survey when they built the neighborhoods around you? I know there's
Absolutely
no-
not. Absolutely not.
You're not going to get a well drilled for less than 10, and that's cheap. I mean, because he came out here the first day and he started drilling, and he only got maybe a half a gallon a minute. And he's like, I can make a well out of that because it's only you, but you're not going to be able to take a shower, wash clothes, wash your car, all that at the same time. You're going to have to time things out. And I'm like, okay, I can manage that. He said, I feel like I need to drill a little bit further and we'll see what we get. And then he got a good amount, but still, that is the uncertainty when you drill a well. You don't know how deep that hole's going to have to be. And then you have to pay for a casing. You have to pay for the pump to be put in. That's another couple $1,000s. You have to pay for the water line to be run from the well to the house. How far is that? So you got all that comes into play. That is the uncertainty of it all.
Because there are people that we have talked with at city council or other people in the city that don't understand about a well. That's why I'm asking you.
Yep.
They don't understand how much it costs, what all goes into drilling a well. So I appreciate you clarifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's the uncertainty of it all. And then, okay, here it's 400 foot deep, and if something happens to it, am I going to have to spend that amount of money again within 12 months of having the first one drilled?
Yeah, I think that's a concern of a lot of people
It is.
around here with
It
their
is.
wells. Do you think you've been fairly treated by the developers and the blasting companies?
Absolutely not.
In what way?
The first time when they started blasting on the other side of this property, like back last year, and they came around to do inspections, home inspections, they said that they typically don't inspect mobile homes because it's not on a permanent foundation. So my home never got inspected the first time.
Wow.
So then I called the fire marshal's office and spoke to them and asked them what the legalities of that were, and they said it didn't matter that I was in a mobile home. I should still be offered an inspection because damages could happen no matter what kind of home it is. The other thing is, I'm concerned about the well, and I'm the closest one to this blast site now, so they put this seismograph at the end of my house, but it's not showing any numbers on it. I can't walk out there and see how hard these blasts are when they go off. So that's scary in itself. You feel trapped. You feel trapped. You don't know what's coming next, and it makes you feel to a point hopeless, because you're like, okay, so they're not showing these numbers on here. Is that because they're trying to hide something? And if something does happen, are they going to say, okay, my insurance is going to pay for it? No, they're not going to say that, because that's not what they're going to do. I just don't feel like they will. I mean, a prime example of that is the Ellicksons, who went how many months without water, and somebody had to take water to their house over on Doc Nichols and Olive Branch for the same reason. They didn't have water problems before the blasting started, and the blasting company didn't pay for that.
Are you worried about your house or your well?
Definitely. It's a 1945 house, so I am concerned about it damaging the foundation, which is, I think, probably the biggest concern, because the foundation holds everything up. So that, along with the well, because we don't have city water out here, and I do have a well, and there have been instances in other parts of Durham where there's more blasting, of people's wells collapsing right after blasting. I don't think it's a coincidence, and so that's my big concern. Or even if my well doesn't collapse, it impacting the water quality, impacting the turbidity, any sort of minerals and stuff that could be in it. I don't want to have to spend $10,000 for a water purification system. So
Do you think city council is not paying attention to the residents?
I think
or-
they don't care. I think that yes, they pay attention because they want it anyway. And they're gonna do what they wanna do. But no, I don't think they care. As long as it doesn't put them in an uncomfortable situation.
What do you think about city council and their approval of all of these developments?
I really think they don't care. I mean, that's the appearance it gives. I've been to the city council meetings. I had one of the city council members ask blatantly what kind of car we drive and what kind of house we live in when I was speaking at that city council meeting. They just act like they have no regard for it. I don't know if it's, and that's the majority of them, not all of them. I feel like they don't, and I don't know if it's their lack of understanding of living in the county and being on well water and having a septic tank and not having, city water and city sewer and that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's, like I said, their lack of knowledge of living in the county and how that works. But they act oblivious and they act like, they keep repeating, we need more housing, we need more affordable housing. These townhouses are going to be over $300,000. To me, that's not affordable. I live in a mobile home. I can't afford a $300,000 house. So, prime example, this week, city council member, he spoke up and said that he has 2 employees that work for him that are homeless. When does he think they're going to be able to afford, or how does he think they can afford a $300,000 townhouse? And then you have the taxes on top of that. Well, because of this back here, our taxes are going up. So taxes aren't affordable, and it's causing the elderly in the neighborhood, in the area, to worry because they're all on fixed incomes. They've worked, I don't know if I should say this, they've worked their asses off their whole lives to pay for everything that they've got, and it's taken every penny, every nickel, and every dime that they get on Social Security just to pay their property taxes, their homeowner's insurance. They might not owe anybody for anything other than taxes and regular utilities, and it's taken every dime that they get in every month to pay all of that so they can stay in their homes. And it's absurd to me because it's like city council doesn't care. They don't give a damn.
I do feel that there definitely are people on city council, a few people who from being in meetings, I feel genuinely care about this part of Durham and the residents here and what the impact is. And I've seen the conversations in the meetings of them wanting to slow some of this down, but they get outvoted by people who really, I feel like, just want to build every available inch of land into anything, regardless of the impact it has on anybody else. Especially because we're county. That's I think one of the biggest issues is we're county, so we don't vote for them. We don't have any say in who is leading the city, but they can have a major impact on our quality of life. And that's definitely a big concern because the county doesn't really seem to get involved in any of this. So we're kind of on our own to stand up for ourselves. And with the majority of the council being more focused on just any sort of housing regardless, I don't know how to put it, that's not inappropriate. We're getting the shaft or something, we're getting screwed over, I guess. And that's how a lot of us feel, and a lot of people won't even, I have neighbors who won't even bother calling the city council or going to meetings or anything because they don't feel that it's going to have any impact. They don't feel their voice matters, so they don't bother. They feel that it's all about money and they don't want to go, and a few neighbors have told me that specifically, very bluntly. So
Did city council consider blasting when they approved the project near your home?
No, because they don't worry about. Again, it goes back to the whole, when you hear them speak about the wells and that kind of thing, it's, oh, we just need more housing. We don't have enough housing. We don't have this. We don't have that. it's like they don't listen, they don't care, they don't understand, they don't want to hear it. It's just about, we need more houses, we need more houses. And it doesn't, they don't care at what circumstance it is to get it. They're just going to keep approving them.
Are you concerned about the lack of infrastructure, fire, and EMS services?
Absolutely. This week, City Council just approved another development going in a half a mile down Carpenter Pond Road. So here we go again, and it's going to be annexed into the city as of March 31st, if I remember the date correctly. So March 31st, so next week, it will be annexed into the city. So I'm sure within 30 days of that, they'll start down there. And then here we go with the blasting again. And it's not, you feel it, you feel the blasting, and then you're going to have the traffic, and you're going to have, I see Jerry Ray posting on Facebook constantly about all of these calls that, were being held up and that kind of thing. Fire and EMS can't get to things fast enough. I'm not sure how many people realize this, but the fire station down here on Leesville Road across from Del Webb, the EMS truck is not there at nighttime. There is no EMS truck there at night. So, that's another issue. And then here we're sending EMS and other, things to other counties when they need it, because they're growing as well as Durham is. So it's just, it's not feasible. It's just, it's all happening too fast.
Are you concerned about the lack of infrastructure around here?
Absolutely.
EMS services, fire service,
Absolutely.
roads.
Absolutely. How can you service that many people? And only 1, 2 within 5 minutes, I'd say, with Bethesda, and then there's one here at Grove Park.
Do you know how many units have been approved recently?
No idea.
We're right at 12,000 now.
Recently.
From Sharon Road over to Kent Virgil Road.
So there wouldn't be just 12,000 people, because you think of families. It's like a lot. I don't know how we're going to have the infrastructure for all of that.
And we already have a problem with staffing. Who wants to, become a firefighter and teachers when they're paying them the bottom?
I'm definitely concerned about what the potential for what can happen once all of this is built. And I've been hearing for the last 5 years that the Glen Elementary School is already at capacity. And we're adding a few hundred homes here, a few hundred townhomes there. It's like 400 and something homes. So how many kids is that bringing in? Where are they going to go to school? Yeah, it's definitely a concern. Along with the roads, and that's another big bone of contention, that they're state-owned roads. So I heard one person who's no longer part of city council say, basically, in a roundabout way, say they don't care about the roads. We're out of luck because they don't own them, and it's county or state, sorry. And these roads were not meant for the volume that's coming through.
What do you think is the solution to the development issue in this area?
Well, there's not going to be anything left. I don't know if there is a solution. Everywhere you go, they're already ripping through and building more. It's just, I have no idea. I really don't even understand where all these people work and where their kids are going to school. I really have no idea. But we're going to be, enough is going to be enough, and I don't know how that's going to go. Because, even in North Hills, they were talking about doing high-rise. So it's, if they're done expanding this way, where else are they going to go? They go up, I'm guessing. And that's, I love, things expanding and getting better and progress, but I have no idea the solution.
Right. Do you have any other comments or anything else you'd like to state, or?
Those are all very serious things going on here. And I think that a lot of people just kind of sit around not thinking it's going to happen to them.
What do you think is the solution to the development issues in this area?
I think slow down is the biggest thing. Slow way down, because again, it's going way too fast. Slowing down, and then making sure that you have enough schools and the roads are capable of holding up all this traffic that's coming into the area when you do put these developments in and that kind of thing. A prime example is 70 and 885 Pleasant Drive, all of that area. Every day from 3:30 till 6:30. 70 East and 70 West is gridlocked all day. I mean, 3:30 to 6:30 every day, at least Monday through Friday. So that turning lane that turns off of 70 coming eastbound onto Pleasant Drive now, that's going to those new developments, that turning lane is backed up all the way beyond the turning lane. And the turning lane was just built. So it's already outdated by the time it was finished. I just think that they need to make sure that the infrastructure is able to support the developments before they put the developments in. I think that's the big key, is just slow down and see what's happening as the things are being developed before you just say yes to everything.
What do you think is the solution to the development issues around here? Or
It's a really complicated issue with so many people moving to the Triangle. It's exploding with growth, and so people need places to live, and I totally understand that. The issue is there's not a lot of, it feels like there's not a lot of regulation being put in it, or even a big picture view for it. Everything is piecemeal, and then we end up with, like, we're gonna have just subdivision on top of subdivision with really nothing left that's open space. And trees sequester carbon, houses and driveways and roads do not. So it's only exacerbating climate change with just, I don't think people don't have that big picture. They look at, like, well, it's just this tiny thing, but everybody with their tiny little things everywhere around the country and around this area, it all adds up.
it's a cumulative.
Yeah, it's cumulative, exactly. So it's, it's definitely a big concern, and I don't know how it should be handled. I think it's something that they really need to pull back the reins on and slow down and get an overall plan. And that's part of the problem, is that there are some people that on city council who have said they want to slow it down and get a better process, and then there's people that don't want to. They just want to build, and the developers, all of the regulations around it, the developers win and everybody else doesn't win. I mean, they always go for the minimum of everything. The minimum buffers, unless you really put up a stink, they go with the minimum buffers. They go with the minimum amount of tree saved. Everything is the minimum. The minimum amount of money they can put into the schools and into the affordable housing funds. So it really needs a major revamp to be more equitable.
City council, they keep repeating that that the same people keep showing up at the city council meetings. I hope that others will start speaking up if they're concerned about all of this. Speak up, show up, email them. Even if you don't show up, email them, or watch these meetings on YouTube and see what you're dealing with. I know us in the county, we can't vote for the city council members. However, you can still speak up. Email them. Be a thorn in their side if you have to, because they're damn sure being a thorn in ours.